constantly open up towards the boundlessness. That is Mahasunyata. That is automatic purification of the emptiness continuously. The assume up of Mahakaruna, the great compassion. Then it will be proceeded. It has to be assumed up. This is already beyond spontaneity, beyond vachara, because that is just spark, the spark. Instantaneity. There is no limit. That is the essence of the great compassion. It cannot be limited with just body, mind, or anything whatsoever. Inside or outside, it's impossible to be limited to just emptiness or not empty. Extinction or no extinction, fixation or not fixation. It's impossible to be limited with only just being empty or not. The limitlessness is beyond all this, beyond even the beyond itself. It's impossible to be stuck with just Nirodha or Nibbana or Vimutti, with just liberation of suffering, or just about ending the lifetime. This is purification. Samsara is lifetime. Let's purify it constantly. It's impossible to be just about liberation or no liberation. Getting over or not getting over. Mind is not only just mind. Uninvolved, not even just uninvolved. Not grasping, even just about not grasping. There is no conditions or commitments at all. This is the great compassion of the Mahasunyata, purifying samsara directly, purifying beingness from beingness itself, helping ending for samsara and the beings directly. And you cannot get this from any universities. This is by yourself, from your own great compassion. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself, actually. Everything. You need to use the word everything, otherwise your mind will be limited. Even you say everything, still come back to limitation again. So go further than that. That which is boundless. That's why it's beyond the form of religions already. This is not just about Christianity, Buddhism, or Islam. It's beyond all that kind of systems, because that is a kind of domination with opinions and meanings, forms of opinions of religions, still like a big coconut shell dominating the beings. We go beyond the forms of religions, breaking through the frame of the delusive attachments of religions already. All about religions, sects and doctrines. This is beyond all kind of beliefs and disbeliefs already. This has nothing to do with faith or disfaith. Unlock everything. Faith or disfaith is still locking up with delusive attachments of titi, of opinions and meanings. It's a delusion, a deluded viewpoint. That's faith and disfaith. This has nothing to do with anything. No fixation or fixation. Has nothing to do with the form of religions at all. Whether they are Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Zen, or Jewish. So if there is fixation to religions, it's like we are under the coconut shell, the big coconut shell dominating by such belief. That's not breaking through anything. They assume opinions to be fixated on and on among one another. Suffering is right there. Because of fixation to gods, to arahants, to Buddhas, suffering will be there. Fixation to oneself, you'll be suffering also because of your fixation. Constantly open up boundlessly towards everything. Everything is boundless. Open up completely. Beyond eyes and ears, all knowing and seeing, beyond seeing and knowing. This is not like I don't want you. Everything is from not what grasping for the non-grasping itself. This is not like I don't want you or I don't want myself. This is from the basis of not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Let's be clear with it. Constantly open up boundlessly as a reminder. It will purify the karmic habits. The karmic habit is being specific and holding on to the internal and the external, or being limited to anything whatsoever. This is the karmic habit. The essence will purify this kind of karmic habits as a whole. Simultaneously, there will be purification. All that limitations to this and that will be purified simultaneously. The boundlessness is not classified into religions or anything whatsoever. It's not classified as sila, disciplines, samadhi, and wisdoms, or any kind of paths at all. Not classified as anything at all. That's the boundlessness. So you can help the mummies. Purify the spells. Hypnotize. Because it will release from this kind of thing. Hypnotizing spirits. Purification for all the spells and hypnotization. This will dissolve all types of black magic as well. Absolutely, not grasping for the non-grasping itself with everything. Absolutely. This is the power of Mahakaruna, the great compassion. Power of Mahakaruna. Go on with the boundlessness. Go on. Go on. You can move around because sitting is quite torturing. Move about, stand or walk. All the practice for attainment. Focusing is like you holding back kind of power within. It's become a pitfall because it's not shared, not releasing out. The explosion from the meditation is actually too much of holding back that kind of meditative power and make people misunderstood that that kind of person who practice that such a meditation is enlightened. This is actually the karmic difficulty which is broken up. Actually, that is the emotional karma that is broken. Everything is meant for discard the discarding itself. That's why you feel relaxed after the explosion. Actually, because the holding back is broken out. But you still stuck with feeling good, feeling relaxed. That is grasping mind that overlaying, still attached to that kind of delusion, to grasp. Whenever time you continue to meditate like that again, explosion again, grasping again. Some people do it 20 times, always boasting about it. That becomes belief values, misleading. Everything is from uninvolved within the involvement itself. Mind from mind itself is not about focusing. Anicca has nothing to do with focusing or maintaining anything. From uninvolved within the involvement itself, with everything. No burdens. There is nothing to be exploded anymore. There is nothing to become karmic difficulties. Open up towards everything. Helping through unwinding and liberation at all times. And there is no such thing as taking on the kind of liberation or happiness. Happiness from liberation. No such a thing at all. Because always unwinding, discarding the unwinding. When you have a long gap, you can feel sometimes like karmic difficulties that you stuck in relaxing. because that is not always releasing. Unwinding like that is a delusion, deluded in the happiness from liberation. Samabat sunyata is everything, but whenever you are in that kind of meditation of samabat, it's a kind of taking on one's own karmic difficulties. Let's shift the samabat, transcend the samabat into samabat of sunyata for the blessing. All about bliss is like a karmic difficulty that is temporary, fixated, which creates a delusion. Vimutti sukh or blissful state is like taking on one's own karmic difficulties, which is a delusion, and is not useful at all. At this time, let's end it. There is no need to be circling around suffering and happiness whatsoever. Let's end all that kind of prisoning. We have to listen. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Who is it going to kind of taking on this kind of happiness and suffering, circling around like that? This is such a belief values. No need to claim anything. Let's transcend it, shift it.
จะเป็นเรื่องของอารมณ์หมู่เหล่าอรหันต์เจ้าที่นั้นที่มีมุติสุขและไม่หลง
Only the arahants who taking on their karmic difficulties in blissful state without delusion. Only the arahants are like that. But however, it is not useful. Can you imagine, I'm so exhausted, let me rest. Something like this. Don't let me bless anywhere, let me rest. Don't rush me to bless anywhere, let me rest. This is a kind of belief values, setting up to end, to liberate. That's why they have to go to the other side. Everything ahosi. Any terminologies that turn into samsara, may it be ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Taken into fixation, deludedly fixated, becoming belief values, ahosi. For the Mahabharami, for the great perfections, Nirod Samabat, the Samabat of extinction is meant for everything. That's for the blessing, for all. Purifying through the extinction and emptiness in the way with power, benefits for all. If you listen to something that has nothing to do with attachment or detachment, that's it. No sides of detachment or attachment. No sides of liberation or no liberation. Purify all types of belief values right away. Transcend to the mode of the great compassion instantly. Only the great compassion can purify this for samsara. The great compassion has nothing to do with attachment or detachment.